We're going to do it. We're going to talk about today why it may be the cheapest time to buy a home today and why we're not going to have a crash. Oh, I said it. I know everyone, I think 44% of the population does believe that the housing market is going to crash. But I am going to cover a couple reasons of why potentially the other side of the equation, why it may not crash and now might be the cheapest time to buy a home. Hi, my name is Nicole Black, your Arizona realtor. I'm not saying it's not going to crash, but I'm also not saying it is. But what we're going to do today, again, is we're going to cover all the things of why people believe it's not going to crash. And the first person we're going to talk about is Kevin O'Leary. Yes, Mr. Shark Tank himself. He believes now is the cheapest time to buy a home. Let's discuss why. Okay, so you can see here this article by MSN.com. Buying a home is probably never getting cheaper as rates aren't coming down and pandemic migration trends persist. And we are going to really dial this into Arizona specifically, even though Kevin O'Leary is not talking about Arizona particularly in this article. So his whole point is that the pandemic migration trends they're not reversing, which has kept home prices elevated. And if you've watched my channel, my other videos, we have discussed, I believe it was from realtor.com, that about 40% of the people right now purchasing in Maricopa County are not from Maricopa County. We're still having an influx of about 200 people a day still moving to Arizona. And here we go. We got the realdeal.com, and they're saying don't expect the housing market to crash anytime soon. They're saying that Americans are priced out of the housing market, maybe hoping for that crash, but they shouldn't be holding their breath, according to economists. The housing market doesn't appear to be posed for a crash in the near future. Yet 44% of Americans believe it will plummet in this year, according to a Letting Tree survey. And a third of those respondents said they actually want it to happen so that they can afford and to buy in this unbelievable market that we have seen in the last 4 years. There's simply just not enough supply, says the National Association of Realtors. So the economics of supply and demand, if there is a shortage, prices will not crash. And not only that, we have another additional shortage because people have the lock-in effect with their mortgage rates. So we've heard this over and over again. But what I want to do is bring it specifically to Arizona. So I want to show you why these articles could be right about Arizona, because real estate is hyper-focused. And we're not talking about Austin, Florida, Wisconsin, New York, where the situation is completely different in all those states. So let's look at specifically Arizona and why these articles could be right. So what I'm bringing up here is the U.S. Census of the population of Arizona. And what I want to look at is 2009 when a crash occurred and the prices came falling down and our supply went skyrocketing. At that time, we had about 4.3 million people in what we call the Phoenix metro area. That's the Phoenix, Mesa, Scottsdale area. Sometimes they throw in Phoenix, Mesa, Chandler. Either way, you're going to get the point here. So 4.3. Currently, right now, we have passed the 5 million mark. We're at over 5 million people in the Phoenix metro area. Now, what does that look like compared to the active listings, so our supply at the time of the great financial crisis? So as you can see here, this was our active supply at the great financial crisis when the market crashed in 2008 and 2009. We had about 50 plus thousand homes on the market, and we had 4.3 million people. Now, in 2024, we have surpassed 5 million people, and we're at 21,000. Now, even if we were to correct and more houses were to start flooding the market, and we got back up to, say, 50,000, we still have about 700,000 plus more people living here and still moving here. So this is why they're saying that with economics of supply and demand, it's not looking like it's going to crash. And you can see in Arizona, our numbers are supporting that. Our population increase, the migration from the pandemic, plus people have been flooding here over and over all when they find out how amazing, wonderful it is, by the way. When they come for a spring training game and they see that it's 70 degrees, but yet it's raining sideways where they're from or snowing. It is an amazing place to live and what we can offer. So people are moving here. And that's why we are one of the fastest growing cities in the country. But also, being that said, our market index, our Crumford Market Index, remember that is specific to Arizona only. It's been around for over 20 years and it's been very accurate in predicting between 3 to 6 months what's going to occur in our real estate market. And over this year, it has just slowly been ticking downward. So again, 90 to about 110, they like to give it kind of a buffer, is a neutral market. Over 110 is a seller's market. Under 90 is a buyer's market. We have been floating for the 17 major cities in Phoenix, Arizona, around the 104. It's been coming down to 104, but it's been between about that 113 to 104 range, and it just kind of keeps ticking down. So we're really in more of a neutral market right now. But even though we're in a neutral market, our price is coming down. Well, our median monthly sales price for the Phoenix metro area is, so look at this, it's still climbing. It's at 469. And if you watched my videos from the previous 2 weeks about our market updates, we had an outlier at the beginning of June where it was like 500,000. It was like, it went from 454 to 500, like that. I was like, okay, just let's wait till the month is done to really kind of gauge it. But it is still, it's come down, which looks more appropriate. But even though we are floating into a more neutral, balanced market with our supply and demand, prices are not crashing. Could we have more negotiating with seller concessions and maybe some price cuts per se? Yes, but not crashing. And then, as always, we always review our supply and demand in Arizona. As you can see, listings under contract, that is our demand, is slightly it's down. It's down the most it's been in 4 or 5 years. But it's following like the seasonality because we're going into, of course, our hotter months. And as you can see for 21, 22, 23, purple's 24, it's coming down. It's not crashing down, but it's low. And then also, we always look at our supply side, and we are at the highest supply that we've been in years, at 16,000 active homes. So this is showing us that, again, that's why we're getting in more than 104, that balanced neutral market, because supply is kind of creeping up a little bit or staying steady, and demand is slightly going down, creating more of a balanced, more neutral market. So, can Kevin O'Leary be right? Can the economists be right that we are not crashing? Yes. By all this information I just showed you, they can be right. But how could they be wrong? We've talked about it. Black swan event. The only way they're going to be wrong based on just standard functional economics is if we have a black swan event, just like we did in 2008, where we all did not know what was going to happen. We had no idea what was going on in the financial sector, how they were packaging their bonds and their everything with the A ratings and the B ratings of homes, how the mortgage and lending were giving loans to people that were dead. Like, we had no clue that all that was going on at that time. So is something like that occurring now? I don't know. If you know, please share with us. But if nothing like that occurs, there's nothing showing that it's going to crash. I know I'm going to get some comments of, well, Nicole, what about the credit card defaults and all that stuff that's happening? It's not happening at a rate of a crash. It makes sense for what's happened, but again, still don't know. But this, I just want to show you this side, and of course, we'll always go over the other side as well, and we'll keep up with it every single week to keep you in the know, to help empower you make your real estate decisions. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, call, text, email, comment below. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, because this is what we do, and then you get notified every week so you can stay on our supply, our demand, the news, what's going on in the Arizona real estate market. I hope wherever you are in the world today that you're doing absolutely amazing. And never forget, we are always here for you.